Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dasch Cast. I am Curtis Dash, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host Brandon Colongo. And this week we've got some Week 7 NFL action, and we're just gonna jump right into it. Thursday Night Football got Giants and Eagles. Brandon, who you got?
Yeah, so not for the Eagles being good, but just for the Giants being bad. I would have to say the Eagles have a slight edge. And their record basically says it all. The Giants are 1-5, and the Eagles are 1-4-1.
Yeah, there's no
They were
real
able
good
to at
answer.
least get a tie on there. And the Eagles did show some promise. I'm downplaying them a little bit. Playing against a very strong Ravens team, they did only lose by a few.
And that's something that that's a lot of things. But the Giants are coming off of their first win, um, which might be big for them. I don't think it's gonna. I am going Eagles. I don't think it's gonna matter. Let's go ahead and jump to Detroit and Atlanta here. The 2-3 Lions coming off that throttling that they gave Jacksonville. The Falcons picking up their first win against the Vikings. I'm gonna go Detroit. We talked about this, of course, but this is one of those. It's kind of a tough game for me. But what about you? How are you feeling?
I'm going Detroit, and I feel pretty good about it. I think Detroit, they did a good number on us
Yeah.
this past week. And even though the Falcons did finally do, they just really played they played pretty well, but they did, they beat a Minnesota team really badly. So,
Yeah. And Minnesota's
I,
not all that great.
no, no, no. So I still feel like the Lions are a better team.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do the Bills and Jets. They look like they're trying real hard to go 0-16, and I feel awful for Trevor Lawrence. Stay in college, kid. Stay in college. I'm going Buffalo. What about you?
Yeah, Buffalo here. And one thing that Buffalo's gonna have to figure out is the drop passes. They've, they're fortunate to play the Jets this week, but two losses in a row is bad.
Yeah, and these are coming off losses. It's like Josh Allen really hasn't played all that particularly well in these losses, and these are two playoff teams that they're facing. Like you're gonna need to beat these two teams. I mean, they lost to the Chiefs, and I think they lost to the Titans. Those are two teams you're probably gonna end up seeing at least one, if not both, if you're trying to be this playoff team. Can't have it. Got to play better, Josh Allen. Continue to play well. He was in the
You
MVP
got to win
conversation.
one.
You know?
Well, I thought maybe a little bit unfairly.
Oh, probably. But
That's
that's a little
everyone
statistic
is
thing.
getting all on the hype train,
Now that
but
being said,
the
he's still.
Bills still do Bills things.
Yeah, I mean, you're going Buffalo here as well, right?
Of course, because they're a good team. They're not so far ahead of the Patriots as they should be. I think Buffalo might be the only team from that division that actually makes it into the playoffs. Patriots could maybe sneak in the back end still, but
Yeah,
I
there's
don't have
seven
them
teams,
doing that.
so with it being an extra team this year, maybe one of those bad teams will kind of skate in there and make a little bit of extra noise.
I don't
Um,
see it. I see it as the Bills being a very middle of the road playoff team.
which is crazy because Josh Allen, I mean, 4 INTs through what 6 games, not bad. 16 TDs as well, like
Well,
great
I look at him
numbers.
too as a middle of the road young quarterback.
Oof, I don't know. That's a little harsh. I think he's getting up there. He's definitely got he's got my eye. He's got my eye. Um, we don't want to talk about those teams anymore. Let's talk about two other teams I couldn't care less about: Cleveland and Cincinnati. Cleveland is 4-2. I believe they lost last week. And I read an interesting quote before we kind of get to who's going to win. Uh, I guess Odell was saying 4-2 feels like 0-6. I'm tired of losing. Well, I mean, Cleveland hasn't really been good in the past, and you're tired of losing after 2 games? Oh, buddy. I mean, there's still plenty of time for Cleveland to choke this season and away. Like, still plenty of time. That being said, I am going Cleveland this game. How do you feel about that quote? Are you picking Cincinnati? Is
He
Joe
just
Burrow
needs
ever going to win?
attention. He just needs attention. That's fine. He's going to do this every so often. Just cry out for attention. It's fine. I mean, yeah, for the Browns, they're a winning team right now.
Right now,
they're
yeah.
they're more. But with that said, it's not like. I mean, yeah, he went to one playoffs with the Giants. It's not like Odell's done a lot of winning. I mean, 4-2 is probably one of his better seasons.
I would agree.
So Browns will win. They're a better team, but Joe Burrow's gonna have his chance to win. He just the Bengals are kind of bad right now, and it's hard when their division's so tough.
Yeah, that is a super tough division. That's a really good point about Joe Burrow
If
too.
you threw them, yeah, if you threw them against Dallas and Washington and
Yeah, put
the
him in the NFC
Giants,
East.
whew,
You know, that'd be a
he'd
different story.
I think they'd be yeah in the playoffs.
I and another thing, I guess, real quickly while we're still on Cincinnati, I guess AJ Green is being shopped. Now I have AJ Green in fantasy, and the only reason I bring the fantasy aspect of it up is because I actually pay attention to the guy's numbers, and I probably pay attention to him on the field a little bit more than your average AJ Green fan. He has not played well this season. He's continued to fight through. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know exactly what's going on. He still hasn't played well, and I know the team is not that good. Is there anyone that will take his $18 million contract, or are they just going to have to buy him out to get rid of him? Because there's no way anyone is taking that deal, right?
I don't know. I think there could be some teams that I don't.
Never say never
I
kind of
feel
thing.
like he's yeah. I feel like he's too young to really just assume that he's done. There's a team out there that could pick him up and probably do some good with him. Now the Patriots don't pay anybody, but that they could use some weapons. There's teams that could
Green
use
Bay can
weapons
use some
essentially.
weapons if he can be healthy, man. AJ Green can come
See,
on
look at that.
over.
You would take him.
Oh yeah. So and that's what I wanted to say is I don't think AJ Green is bad. I think that team is just really bad, and I think putting out a new uniform could give him some light, kind of like what would have happened if Megatron ever put on Calvin Johnson ever put on a new uniform. Maybe he actually would have continued to excel and actually won some Super Bowls. But alas, poor Yorick, that did not happen for him. Let's go ahead and jump to two more teams we couldn't care less about, but the nation seems to enjoy. We got the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Football Team. I'll go ahead and give you the floor here. Who you got? I know. I still don't have a check mark here.
No, it's funny. I got the Cowboys.
I mean,
Yeah, it's because these teams are so bad. Really, the Cowboys are a total disaster right now. And it's so funny because they're somehow first in the division. I don't
yeah,
know how.
it's just yeah, 2-4, like a 2-4 record or whatever it is, gets you or 3-4, or 2-4 gets you like that. Just
This is
like
uncanny.
every year we go through the same thing. It's like every year there's usually one division that's not great. Now the NFC East has been the topic of conversation more
And
often
it's
than
not
not.
been like this.
Yeah, this is pretty ugly, pretty ugly. Of course, I'm gonna go Dallas here. I am not confident in that pick at all. Uh, I
I'm not
won't be.
confident
Yeah,
either.
I don't know what's going on. Zeke has fumbled like 4 out of the last 6 games. We talked about that. They're turning over the ball. What was the stat you brought up to me off air? Like last in the league in
In
turn or
defense
yeah,
and first in the league in turnovers.
like you're just not giving your there's the team is just hurting themselves.
Hmm.
It's just crazy. Next game we got the Packers and Texans. No way in hell Green Bay drops this game. No way, absolutely not. Rodgers by 50. What do you got?
I appreciate the enthusiasm. I actually think that the Texans are a dangerous team in general. They're going to be ruining a lot of people's plans, but I do think the Packers are not going to lose two in a row. So I'm sticking with the Packers, but I would not be I would I'd be
A
I'd
little
be
worried.
ready for this game. Yeah, I'd have just a little bit.
I mean, they did hang with Tennessee. That's something that a lot of they only lost by like a touchdown in that game. Kind of
Well, they got
crazy.
up for that game, with the rivalry and
Of
all
course,
that.
of course. Like one should. I just think Green Bay is great. Hopefully we'll bounce back. Now, if we do lose to the Texans, you will hear a different tone. I'm sure. We'll have a lot of questions. I'm sure. I will have a lot of things to talk about and a lot of things to complain about. Let's go ahead and jump to the Panthers and Saints. And you brought up something that I completely forgot about with Teddy Bridgewater. Who do you got in this game?
So, as you know, I like picking upsets,
Mm-hmm.
and I usually pick a couple per week. And this is one of those games I am ready for this Bridgewater returning to New Orleans showdown. And I feel like the Carolina is good, and the Saints are kind of in disarray. And I think with this Bridgewater dynamic, he's going to be coming out there ready to show them what they missed out on. And I like the Panthers.
Yeah, the great thing about that game, this will be a fun game too. The Saints are coming off a bye. That's one thing to keep in mind. They should have, I think they'll have Michael Thomas back. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on in New Orleans, but that kind of segues into how I mean the team is very dysfunctional. It seems they have really no real quality wins unless you count that win over Tampa Bay in Week 1.
I count
Um,
that. I mean, yeah, that
depending
was
on who
a
you ask, the Saints were a different team. I still think I'm actually gonna. I think I'm gonna take them to win this game still. I'm just hoping that bye week they were able to get a lot of that dysfunctionality out the window, come back and play as a team. And if Teddy Bridgewater comes into the Superdome and torches New Orleans, we're gonna have another talk on Tuesday for sure. We'll definitely have to talk about that because that'll be a crazy thing. But I am gonna go New Orleans, but
I
if the
don't
Panthers
see
win.
him. I don't see him torching the Saints, but I do see them putting up a decent amount of points, and I see them winning. I wouldn't call it necessarily a shootout, but a high-scoring game.
Hi, fair enough, fair enough. Let's go ahead and jump to a huge game, and I don't understand why this doesn't get flexed. We have the 5-0 Steelers and the 5-0 Titans, and this will be a fun game. A lot of people aren't as high on the Steelers. I'm in the band that's a little higher on them. I think you're in the band that's a little lower on the Steelers. But the Titans, King Henry carrying that team, Tannehill not playing terribly. Doing what he's supposed to do, but of course, Roethlisberger, Chase Claypool over there, they're having great times. This is a big game. Who you got?
I feel like I have a little bit more trust in the Titans. I don't 100% trust either of these teams, and I think you're probably right that I'm on the lower end of trusting the Steelers.
Sure.
However, they did show pretty well against the Browns, so that was a pretty big test that I saw them definitely pass. With that said, I just think the Titans are a little bit better all around. They've got, except maybe the only place where they're not better is quarterback. And while it's the most important position, I don't think it's such a huge drop off. I think Henry makes a bigger
Yeah.
difference than Connor does. And their defenses are both pretty darn good.
Throw out these quick stat numbers for Roethlisberger and Tannehill. Roethlisberger 11 TDs, 1 INT. Got Tannehill 13 TDs, 2 INTs. These are performing quarterbacks, man. However, I'm gonna go Steelers. I was gonna go Titans. And the reason I'm going to go Steelers, I just have more faith in Ben Roethlisberger than I do Tannehill. But if I'm wrong here and King Henry runs for like 200 yards, I'm not going to be surprised. Like this is one of those trap games, but I don't really qualify it as a trap game because I think both teams are really good.
I get where you're coming from. That, yeah, obviously Roethlisberger has put together a much
A
bigger
great
body of
comeback
work in
season.
terms of, well, he's got his 2 rings.
That too. Yeah, we
However,
talked about that not long ago.
I just think so first off, the Titans have a great. I mean, I know Pittsburgh, has great coaching, but the Titans have had phenomenal coaching,
Vrabel
and
has
there's
done
just something
wonders.
about Tannehill this year. I mean, his stats, because I know you love stats so
I
much,
do.
look Lamar-esque.
I mean, Tannehill looks like a franchise leading quarterback. I've
And
got nothing negative to say.
they put the hurting on Buffalo, and I just think that game kind of proved. And interestingly enough, the Browns, I feel like, are probably similar talent-wise to Buffalo, and the Steelers kind of put the Browns in their place too.
They did.
So it's really interesting. I think we're going to get this game is going to show us a lot about the league.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think this is probably my of course Packers and Texans of course, but this is probably my game of the week right here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
I do have to
cool.
say both teams only really have only one quality win, however. So that's interesting. But you did just mention that. So I feel like they're so evenly matched, and I just checked the over and under and all that stuff, and I think it's like a 50.5 over and under, and the spread is literally 1, and the Titans are favored by 1. It's going to be so much fun. If you like football, that's got to be the game you got to jump into. I think
Yeah,
you'll
the
really
pick'ems are
appreciate it.
leading Steelers though.
Yeah, just barely. I actually just saw that. I don't know if that's swayed by decision. I got. You can talk me into both teams.
There's more
Everything you said
Steelers
about
fans than
Tennessee.
Titans fans,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
and a lot of fans are just picking with their team.
All right, let's go ahead and move along here. We'll talk about the Seahawks and Cardinals now. This is a game that you actually had on your radar here, and I'll let you have the floor here.
So right now, it's time for Arizona to put up or shut up. Seahawks have been playing a little sloppy lately. I picked my 2 upsets of the week, and given that the Seahawks are 5-0 and barely squeaked out a win last week, and the Cardinals are they had a nice, easy game with the Cowboys where they could kind of pad some stats
True.
and get everything kind of all working together. I like the Cardinals to really, really prove themselves to be a worthy team this year by beating the Seahawks.
Yeah, if the Seahawks can pick up, or excuse me, if the Cardinals can pick up a win here, that will definitely put them on a lot of people's radars. I mean, they should be on a lot of people's radars anyway. They're 4-2. Um, and this probably will say a little bit about Seattle. Now they are due to drop one, as good as Russell Wilson has been. They're probably due, and like you said, they barely beat a very bad Minnesota team. They only beat them by one, so it's like, yeah. I'm gonna go Seahawks here anyway. I'm too afraid of Russell Wilson to go against him. That's all it is.
Fair enough.
That's really all it is.
It's not. I get where you're coming from, but let's not forget that Kyler Murray is a worthy adversary.
True. He is a worthy adversary, but he is an adversary that has shown me weakness, and I have seen none of that from Wilson this year.
Yeah,
Uh,
give him some time. Give him some time, but we'll get
it
there.
is still
It,
early,
it
yeah.
is a second year. It's crazy. This is
Yeah.
normally the year that he should be having drop off.
You could argue that he already had that in the one game, but meh. He seems to be playing well. I mean, he did his
Yeah.
job against Dallas, right? And
Hmm.
that's all that matters. Got Kansas City and Denver. I don't think this was going to be much of a contest. I'm going Kansas City. Who do you got?
Same.
Yeah. Here's an interesting game we were kind of talking about before we jumped on the cast here. We got the Niners and the Pats. Um, very, very evenly matched up on the pick'ems, it seems. I think the Niners have the slight edge. I don't know who to go with in this game. We were talking about this off air. What about you? What's your thoughts here?
You know me. I'm very decisive. I have New England Patriots getting the win. I just think that the Niners have a little more to lose in this game, and I think that's going to be the difference. Like the Patriots are kind of in this point right now where they're I just feel like they have a lot less to lose in this game, and the Niners are they're still not showing me anything that I need to see from them. So, not for any reason in particular, I'm picking the Patriots. I think they're just a little more solid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong here. I'm actually gonna go Pats as well. I was thinking about this, and the only thing that would really make me completely go with the Niners is they got to be healthy and they got to play like a hungry team that wants it. They just haven't. I mean, I still hate the idea of
Mostert's
starting.
out.
Yeah, but no Mostert. You had your guy in Jimmy G. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? They benched him. That
Well, they
shows a
beat
little
the
bit of dysfunction.
Rams.
They did, and we will talk about them here in a little bit. That's very interesting because that division is pretty tough. You got to figure all four teams in that division are four and something.
Yep.
Seahawks are 5-0, Rams are four and
Well,
two. Well, the
San
Niners are
Fran's.
3-3, and you
Yeah.
got the Cardinals at 4-2. I mean, that's a pretty tough division. Besides,
Oh, it is.
one win here or there kind of makes that division. Besides the Seahawks at the moment.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
see. Belichick can help me out here and help put the Cardinals in the playoffs and have my San Francisco 49ers miss the playoffs per
yeah.
my prediction.
Let's go ahead and jump to a 425 game. I did not realize it was at 425. We got the Jags and Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers, but this is very easily a game that the Jags can win, and I think you kind of agreed when we were talking about this off air. Who do you got?
It's actually really crazy because I'm looking at the pick'ems and everyone has the Chargers, and I was leaning Chargers, but I don't think it's that cut and dry. Jeez, I think the Jags could win. I don't think the Chargers are impressive by any
Yeah, right.
standard.
Like they're a 1-4 team. Like everybody
I'm
is.
picking them not because they're great, but because the Jags have been bad. But I
I'm.
don't think the Jags are that bad.
Yeah, I agree. I'm picking them because it's a home game for LA. The Jags have to go from Florida to California. It's a journey. Maybe that'll have something to do with it. They're not a great football team anyway, but neither are the Chargers, so who knows? Anyway, I'm gonna go Chargers. You could convince me otherwise. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, like you had said. I didn't know the differential would have been that big. But let's talk about your Tampa Bay Bucks. And I held because I was gonna say Tampa. I decided not to. And then we have the Raiders. I think I told you off air the Raiders had used their one little magical upset to me.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna go Bucks. But what about you?
Same. I expect old Tom Terrific to keep doing what he does, and the Raiders are not that good of a team. They're good. They can upset a couple people here and there, but I don't know. I think the Bucks they're going to give Carr a really hard time with that pass rush, and they got a lot of weapons. And if especially if they can avoid if they have another zero turnover game, I
Oof.
mean zero penalties even too.
Yeah,
Zero turnovers, zero penalties. They're gonna run through a lot of teams.
very many. I mean, that's something that a lot of people don't talk about either. If like, they shore up all the penalties like they did against Green Bay, if the drop passes to go away, they might not lose again, honestly. I hope I'm wrong for my sake. The Monday night game, we've got the Chicago Bears, Los Angeles Rams. We were just talking about them. We've talked about the Bears a lot. I'll give you the floor here. Who you got?
I got the Bears, and it's one of those things where you got a great defense and you got a great offense. And the Rams are a really talented team. I think the Rams are more talented than the Bears. However, the Bears play like a cohesive unit. Their defense is
Monsters.
amazing.
Yeah.
And now that they added Nick Foles, that offense has a new light to it. And I think he's going to do what it takes to get the win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bears as well. I wish I wouldn't. I can't help it. I'm afraid of Big Dick Nick. I'll still take Rodgers, of course. But after that Bucks game, I was telling you, I started to look at the Bears a little bit more closely. Now we don't play them until like week 11 or week 12 or something like that. But I started to look at them and kind of pay attention a little bit more. A 5-1 campaign, they're leading the division now after that loss because they've actually beat the Bucks, and we got dominated by them. So that kind of scares me a little bit with the Bears. But I've seen how great the Bears can play. I've seen how bad the Rams can be. I'm gonna go Bears again. Big Dick Nick. That's the only reason.
Don't forget how bad the Bears can play, too, though.
Yeah, but I'm used to that. That's an every year kind of thing for me. No, they can play bad. That is a very good point. I mean, that loss to the Colts being proof. But
Yep.
they have taken care of business every other time when they were supposed to. Nick Foles continues to play well. We'll see how well.
This is a big week.
Yeah, so
This is going to tell us a lot about what we need to know for the upcoming weeks. Because right now it's all over the place. Your guess is as good as mine in
yeah.
a lot of areas.
Yeah, I feel like both of us are kind of like, we'll go with this one, but should we? Like, it doesn't. I feel like this is kind of the test you take that there are no wrong answers until the teacher looks at it and she's like, nah, and rips the thing up. I feel like this could be this week. I hope not.
Well, what it is, I think, is a lot of teams have given you reasons not to pick them.
Yeah, I mean
Teams
that last
you
week
have
hurt.
to pick. Like for example,
The
the
Giants and
Eagles, I feel
Eagles.
like I
Yeah.
have to pick, and the other example would be like I feel like I have to pick the Cowboys, and so but neither of those teams have given you any reason to think that they are going to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, definitely not fun. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys, for week 7. However, hopefully I can do a lot better than 7 whole games picked correctly last week. Like we were saying, this week could definitely be one of those weeks to where 7 points might seem good. As always, please like, subscribe, turn our notifications on, comment if you like something, if you don't like something, if you hate Green Bay, if you love Green Bay, if you hate Tampa Bay, haha, or if you don't.
Or Tom Terrific.
Tom Terrific. I actually like that one a little bit more. But we'll go ahead and see you guys next clip. Thank you guys for tuning in.